it's Connie, and I'm on the Connie Crafts page doing a quick live for Friday. I told you I have a lot of stuff to show you out of this new catalog, so you may see me pop in from time to time. I don't have my lights on, that's why you see all the shadows of my hands and stuff. It's so weird. But anyway, today I really wanted to show you some accessories that work well with that Cape Cod paper because, you know, that Cape Cod paper is so pretty. And we have a lot of other things. So I thought stencils would be a great technique to show today. So this is part of the stencil pack number 1, and it has 5 stencils in it, and it comes as a 12 by 12 sheet, but I have cut mine apart so you can see. I like to, I could even cut off that little one, but honestly, I just use them. I find it awkward to use them as a 12 by 12. We'll just say that. Okay, so today I want to use the one that has water look and the one that has shells look. And I might even show a little bit on this sunrise one. So these I'm going to put aside just for a bit. Now I store my stencils against black cardstock in the pack it came in because that way I can just look, you know, I can just pull this out and each stencil, because this one comes with 3 big 12 by 12 stencils like that, and I cut all mine apart, as you can see. So that way I can just, you know, pull out what I need. Okay, first thing you need is make sure you can keep track of your stencils. They are clear and they're hard to find when you set them down like I do. Scrap paper, and then the best thing to do is just use ink. So I cut a whole bunch of little card bases, and I thought, well, just make a couple here, and I'll show you kind of how easy that is. Now, if you are not lazy like myself, it might be a good idea to tape this all down, you know, maybe put a dot of adhesive down to hold your cardstock, maybe put a little piece of tape on, washi tape on each side of your stencil. I'm lazy and I don't, so I'll show you, you know, what happens when you don't, because I don't. Here's Glacier, which is the first color I'm going to use, and I have a blending brush, and basically I'm just going to load that up and hold this down. Now these stencils can be a little like almost flimsy feeling, like if you brush really hard against them, it's gonna move. And so I just try to use kind of a light touch. The problem with stencils too is you don't think you're getting hardly any color, and then when you lift it up you realize, whoa, I actually have quite a bit of color down already, right? So it's important to kind of start light because you can't take away. And so there's Glacier. Now this looks cool just the way it is. Do you see? That looks really neat. It's a great water thing. I could do all kinds of stuff with that. But I want to make it a little more dimensional, so I'm going to line my stencil back up. And now I'm going to take a bolder color. I'm going to take Bluebird, which really is quite a bolder color. And I'm going to ink up my brush. And then I'm just going to swoosh it across a couple of the waves, not all of the waves. The main thing I'm trying to avoid is like a hard stops, you know, you don't want like a boom spot on your water. Okay, so now when I lift it up, do you see how it has like a kind of a variegated blue look? So that's really nice, right? Okay, I love that. And I'm just gonna set that aside for a bit and show you another stencil in this set. I really love, I'm gonna use a little bit smaller background base. I really love the seashells on this. Oh, by the way, when you are done with your stencil like this, I usually, you can wash it with, just rinse it off in water, or I just keep a microfiber towel around and wipe it off. And that way I'm not getting ink everywhere. Because if you go to use it again, you use different colors, it'll transfer. So you want to make sure you're cleaning it up a little bit as you go. I really love these shells. You can kind of pick, you know, where you want your shell design to be. I'm going to use toffee. Shortbread makes really good seashells that are kind of a brown color also. And I'm going to tap it off a little bit, and I'm just going to lightly go over. Now, if you just swipe one way, you're going to get a dimensional shadow on one side. So if I swipe it like this, let me just show you, like, see how it shades it almost on one side. But if you want an overall, you know, the overall coloring, you need to go in a circle so that you hit all your surfaces. Like I'm a little light down here, for example. And especially if you have a real soft, or a real tiny spot on your stencil, like that shell right there. Look how tiny that little dot is. So you want to make sure you get all of your little parts and pieces. So I think that's really cool. Now let me just show you an idea of what I did with this. The other, I think I might put just a tiny bit of water on this one too. I'm going to make a really quick card base. I'm just gonna put it real softly right here. I'm not gonna go too crazy, and I'm gonna kind of be covering up the left side, so there's that. And again, if I want to just put a little bit of darker blue on there, I can. See how I got that little squishy part there? I didn't intend that, but there you go. Okay, so there's my card base. Now check this out. I think this is really neat. So, you know, you put that on a brown base. Here, let me just tack it into place. I can use my adhesive later to really put it together. And then I have a piece of glacier to layer. And you can pick if you want the light or dark side. Like that. Isn't that pretty? And then, you know, you can do different things. So, like, if I have a couple scraps here, and I'm gonna use liquid glue just because it's faster. It's faster. Oh, I like this side better. Okay, I'm gonna do that. All right, so I'm gonna glue this here. And glue this here. And then I have the seashells. I have a bunch of seashells that I did using, this is the card making kit from the Cape Cod card making. And I don't always, you know, do the cards exactly like they do. I like to, you know, do my own thing a little bit. And I know I will use them, you know, for a long time. The cool part about this card making kit is the die cuts, because it makes these really neat shells. Stamp set's great, but it makes these really neat shells. And you can just use your, you know, like here I just used my blending brush to do a little blending on it, and it cuts them so that they're kind of open and dimensional. They're just really cool. The other thing I like to do is sometimes I'll use ink and a water brush, or I'll use just a little bit of shimmer pen. And the idea is, you know, just to add a little dimension. On this one right here, I used a shortbread shimmer pen over the entire thing. So you can see the cool color that you can get on that. So I'm just gonna kind of glue those in place. And put that there. I'm not really very exact about these because when you use liquid glue, you can wiggle and move a little bit. So there, I love that. Smush. Okay, and then there's several little messages in here. It's like just a little hello, or you're special, or thank you, or let's celebrate. I love that. That's so cute. So I'm just gonna put one of the little messages on here. Now, isn't that great? So if you don't have a lot of pattern paper left, look how cool that looks in the background, just adding that water and that stenciled, the shells in the background. And then I could just add a few gems, and that card, I just think it looks really great. So that's an option. Now I want to show you one other thing that I did with this stencil. This is a sneak peek for the Hostess Club people, so gosh, brace yourself. Close your eyes if you don't want to see it. But this is the Hostess Club, the left page of the Hostess Club layout I made this month. And you can see I stenciled in the background of all the pages. And I did that because it just adds a little something. You know, sometimes as far as photos go, you know, people may put a big photo here, or usually beach photos are landscape most of the time. So I tried to leave space for landscape photo here, and maybe one here, or a smaller one like a 4x4 down here. But I just love how the water looks. Now, if you really want to do something special to the water, you could also add, like here we have our water back. I'm going to add a couple of things just to show you the difference. So this is stickles, and this one is diamond stickles, and it looks really, really cool, just kind of putting it like at the top, like a little bit of a shimmer, like the water is shimmering. There, you can see it. This color is salt water. Now, if you're using a lot of that lagoon colored paper, you could use salt water, and salt water is, come on out. Salt water is a little more green. Sorry, I had to get it to the end. It's a little more green, and you can just follow the line and put that on there. And I like to kind of use the tip to smear it out a little bit, but you can imagine how cool this would look if I did this on multiple lines, just one after another, and it's very shimmery and it dries, and it's, you know, that's great. The Pacific Coast one is really bold. It's very bold. And so you could, you know, really add some dark colored waves to your. One thing too that you can do is you could, I'm just going to use this as my scrap here. I'm just going to squirt some out, and then you can use your finger and, you know, just smear it on there, and so it gives it more of that sparkle look. It's more scattered looking, right? So these are just some ideas. I also brought out my shimmer brushes. This is Seabrook, and you can see it kind of recolors the whole thing. You have to be light-handed when you're using a colored shimmer, but if you use the clear shimmer, you can really go to town and add some sparkle to it. So let me just kind of move that around so you can see how cool that looks. Now, the other thing that I brought out was liquid pearls, because I don't use those very often, but liquid pearls have a different look. And let me move this so I don't glob into things. But liquid pearls are more like paint. So you could use those, you know, like I did here. I put a little out, used my finger and smeared it around, and I colored it that rose gold color. And then I used my moon dust stickles. This is like a gel like this, and I just kind of put it over the top with my finger. Now these are all, you know, acid free and safe, and they dry on there, and it just gives it a glittery look, and it's really cool. I mean, so if I made that same, if I made that same card, you know, like that special card, and I put this on there instead with the shimmer, it really does add a little something to the card. It just looks special, even more so than just the shimmer pen. So I just wanted to show you that as an option. Put that off to dry. And while I have this kind of paste stuff out, so texture paste, I know you guys have seen me use this pretty often, but I'm going to show it one more time because it just is too cool, right? All right, so texture paste, it's white, it's kind of like cake frosting, and you can use it, I usually use it with a spatula of some kind. And what I like to do, I'm going to move things over a little so I have a little space here on my all-purpose mat. What I like to do is I like to add a little bit of ink to my all-purpose mat, that's Glacier, and then I add the texture paste to it. Now my texture paste, as it's meant to be used, is not meant to be like sitting around and not used. So it gets hard over time. That's how it dries, and you know, air will get to it. I'm mixing the texture paste with the ink, and you can make it as dark or as light as you want. And I even like it when it's a little swirly. Now to store my texture paste, you might have noticed I have like press and seal or saran wrap, and I put it in there and hold it so that as little air will get to it as possible, right? So this texture paste is about a year old. I have another one that I opened that I've been using because I couldn't find the first one. That's how organized I am right now. All right, and then, so if I'm going to, for example, do the water, this is probably a place where you really do want to tape it down, because you're gonna have like, you're gonna have movement. You're gonna have things moving, and when you are messing around with these stencils, they're a little flimsy. Okay, and especially with texture paste, it's a little harder to control where it's at than the blending brush. So if you have like this hard edge of the top of the stencil, you might want to tape that off, because you'll get a hard edge. Not that you can't do anything to fix it later, but you can kind of see it kind of was lifting just a little bit there. All right, so here is my stencil using the paste. Now, okay, that's really bland. To me, it's just all one color, and I could use my shimmer pen after it's dry. I could add glitter to the top while it's wet, or I could add a little bit of that bluebird in. See how it's kind of streaky? If I leave it kind of streaky like that, and then go over it a little bit, I'm gonna get some color and some streakiness in my waves, in my water. I'm trying to make an end to the water there. Okay, like it doesn't go on and on over the card. So I like how it looks when, you know, you add a little something to the waves. Okay, enough of that. All right, I'm gonna take my paper towel and wipe this down. Get that ink off so I'm not using it all over the place. That's good. Okay, and let's go ahead and lift. And so you can kind of see what that looks like. Now here I got a little, I'm just gonna wipe that off here and here. And you can see where I could do that exact same card with the shells at the bottom, and you know, I could do that exact same card. Only I used texture paste. Let me grab that one instead. And so it'll make a really cool looking card, right? And I love adding some shimmer. Let me just grab my paper towel here so I can wipe off my... Now, with stencils, this texture paste dries. It's not crazy fast, but fast enough that you'll want to have a little tub of water to dunk them in, or something. Like, I don't worry about my spatula. If I get it wiped off, it's pretty clean. I don't worry about that. But this stencil right here, I would want to get that washed off soon. I don't want to let that sit and harden on there. All right. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to show you? Oh yeah, I was going to show you just real quick. Let me grab another scratch paper. I was going to show you real quick, like this one. Some of these are sort of made to, you know, make a whole card on their own. Like, it's supposed to be easy, like that Hello Sunshine is pretty easy to use all on its own. So let's do this one really quick and then we'll call that done. So I'm going to start with the glacier, and because I don't want the sun to be colored the same color as my water, right? I'm going to mask that off, and that way at the bottom I can do my water, and some of it I'm making darker and some of it I'm making lighter. You see? Okay, that's actually a sun ray, I think. I think I colored it blue. I was thinking it was the top of the water, but apparently I should have masked just a little more. Now, away from the sun, you know, it gets darker. So down at the bottom, I'm gonna do the darker blue, and around the edge, because, you know, where the sun would be shining would be where it's the lightest. Now, here is where it's really important to wipe your stencil off and kind of clean it off before you move on, because what will happen is if you leave blue ink on that, as you swirl around, it'll get into your yellow, which is what I'm going to use for the sun. Okay, now I'm going to mask off the bottom part, and this time I really will make the rays yellow, because dang, that was dumb. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna tape this stencil just for a minute. So I think if I want to make it look a little sunsetty, I'm gonna start with yellow, and this is Lemonade. ink up my brush, check it. And then I'm just gonna swirl it around the sun rays. And I want the sun to be soft but solid. You know, like I don't want it blotchy, so it takes a little bit of work to make it not blotchy yellow. Okay, I like that. I think that's good. And then to make it look a little sunsetty, I'm gonna use the color of the year. That's Melon. Remember, Melon will be retiring. And I'm going from the bottom, flicking up the stencil like this. And I'm gonna try to color those rays that I started with, that I made blue. Because duh, I can't believe I did that. All right, anyway, they'll look fine. They'll be fine. So as I do that, what you notice is the bottom of the sun is like, you know, a nice dark, it's starting to look orangey almost. It's mixing with that yellow. And I'm blending it up so it's like a nice variegation. It's not like a hard boom, boom, orange or whatever. It's not like I'm just going side to side. So, all right. I think that's probably good enough. I'm gonna put that away. Let's lift our tape and lift this up. And look how pretty. Wow, that's really nice. Now, I still have the birds, right? So I didn't do the birds because I like them to be like, you know, black. Excuse me. My allergies, we've been working out in the yard today and ugh, it's getting me. All right, so I'm just gonna trace them and color them in with my black marker and see how that looks. I've not done that often. I usually just get out of ink and make them another color, but these are just those M birds, you know? Gosh, I could probably have just drawn them on. But, oh, and then look, I have a little bit of a sun ray right there. Don't want to miss that. All right. And when I'm all done here look how cute. Oh, that's so pretty. And then it wouldn't take much. I could just matte this on a little bluebird even, or a dark, even black. Wouldn't that look cool on black? And then, because look at that. Oh, I even have a piece that's cut like a good size. So I could matte this on like yellow and bluebird and then just put a little hello or something on there or a thank you and it would be done. But I do like a little bit of shimmer. And so I think the water could use a little something. And so I'm just going over it. I'm making it shimmery. Pretty. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. I'm just gonna go to town here. I'm probably gonna overdo because I tend to do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, that looks so nice. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but in my eyes, it's like, wow, it really added to do that. So, all right. So there's my stenciling, and I can use all of this with Cape Cod. You can use it with the papers. You can use it with the stamp pads, or the inks, or the stamps. This stamp right here is how I made that little thing, just in case you're wondering. And I really love all the different things that you can add to really make like your stencils pop. You can use 2 or 3 different colors and make them really pop out. I may do a still shot of that Hello Sunshine one, doing that variegated look because it looks really special. So thanks for watching, and I'll definitely be back on Wednesday at 2, but watch for me to pop on from time to time because I do have techniques to show this month that I feel like I don't have time to do just once a week. So thank you. Bye-bye.